able to communicate.
Day one was already awkward because you were like, oh.
Fuck day one. Fuck the reveal, JP. Move on from it.
That's what started everything. Is it not?
No, you know what started it is when I came here and we couldn't get past it.
You couldn't get past it.
Am I the only one who's surprised as to why we got season 5 so suddenly? I don't think Netflix really needed to rush with season 5. I think they could have taken their time. I think this bunch of single people didn't need to be on Love is Blind, really. We could have done without them. We really could have done without them, especially given the fact that we now only have 2 couples that are still engaged. It doesn't make sense. Out of all the participants, as I said in my previous review, I feel we should have spent more time on seeing how people bond or create a connection or don't get a connection in the pods instead of us rushing to Mexico for only one couple to break up. But anyway, I digress. You can tell I'm in my feelings about this. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love is Blind, Season 5, Episode 6. My God. What am I going to do? Okay, I'll discuss my couples as couples. I won't go through the whole sort of episode as I normally do, sort of reviewing a clip at a time or a couple of scenes at a time. I'll just discuss the couples and we'll see how we go. So, how do I feel? I think JP and Taylor, if you've listened to my reviews in episode 1, 2, 3, even when they proposed to one another, I had questions because we really didn't see the build of their relationship. I couldn't understand how they'd come to suddenly becoming engaged when the connection didn't make sense, apart from them calling each other sugar bud. That's all that was there. And surprise, surprise, once they saw each other and once they got to Mexico, things fell apart. Am I surprised that they fell apart? No. I saw it coming. Anyone could have seen this coming. Because the way JP was behaving so awkwardly made me question that, what is it about this girl that he doesn't like? Make it make sense. Because she seemed to be amazing. She seemed to be loving and caring and very patient. But I couldn't get why he was very anxious around her. And I still don't get why. And I can only think it's one of two things. Either he felt like he was punching and that she would never be happy with him, or he would never feel secure with her because he would always question whether, somebody else was going to come and steal her from him, or 2, she was too independent or too outspoken for him. But then she was still outspoken in the pod, so it doesn't make sense. Anyway, it boils down to, they go on this date, on this, I've forgotten what they call them, one of those electric, God, I've forgotten the name. It's frustrating. Anyway, I think Micah and Paul had the same date last year. So they go on this date, they barely talk. He's trying his best to talk, but it's not really coming out. And then once they come back, they start to have a conversation. I think at this point, Taylor had been complaining to the producers. That's the impression that I'm getting. And I think they must have facilitated, okay, you guys sit down, have a conversation and see what's the way forward. Because Taylor was refusing to speak. She was just saying, when they did their morning diary, she said, no, you talk. I'm not going to talk. I can't be the one who's always talking. That's when they started this conversation, and it came out that, oh, you came out, at the reveal with so much makeup, and I had makeup on my jacket, I had makeup on my this, that, and the other, and yet, because in the morning he had commented about how he liked the freckles, and it's like, with Taylor, I personally think she looks more stunning, and she looks younger without makeup on. I get that, but the fact that he used this as an excuse doesn't make sense to me, because this is her body. She's entitled to do with it as she pleases. If she wants to put makeup on like a clown, hey, it is what it is. If you're embarrassed, don't walk with her. That's it. But you can't tell her, I don't want you to put makeup on. Oh, because it was a false representation of yourself. And it's like, what do you mean? Do you mean she was covering up and she tried to make herself more beautiful than she actually is? I think she looks stunning without makeup. I think she looks younger, as I said, without makeup. So I don't get his argument. And that was infuriating and upsetting for her, because once he realized it pissed her off, then he tried to backtrack and it was too late. And I get her wanting, space and saying, no, we need a timeout, because it wasn't, had they stayed in the same room, I would have questioned it. So I accept her taking time out to sort of have a moment and time to reflect. And then the following morning they met up, and he tried to, oh, this is the reason why I was feeling so tense, but I'm happy to try and give it a go. And it's like, you had an amazing girl. You had someone who's very loving, patient, compassionate, empathetic, and who was willing to put in the work with you. But you decided to stay in your own feelings, and you decided not to put in the work. And now that you've realized that she's leaving you, you've decided, oh, let's give it a shot. Nobody, it's too late. And I give her a lot of credit for choosing herself, for choosing her peace of mind, and having enough self-love to say, my peace of mind matters. I want someone who's crazy about me, someone who loves me, someone who cares about me. The person he presented himself to be in the pod is the person that she liked. She didn't like the person he was in person. And I don't blame her for breaking up with him. It was about damn time. She deserves better. So I'm happy she broke up with him and chose herself. That's way better than continuing in a relationship just to stay on the show. No, it's not worth it. And then you have Lydia and Milton. Lydia and Milton, for me, I really didn't get to see what they were doing. Every other minute we saw them, they were making out. They didn't go on any dates on the honeymoon. We didn't see them. I don't know whether they were overshadowed by the drama with JP and Taylor, because we really didn't see much. Every other time we saw them, they were sort of dissing each other about their age, which they always try to see the funny side of. And Milton is always trying to help Lydia with her English, because obviously it's her second language, so she's happy with that. They did sit down for a meal, but they didn't say anything that I could pick up, really say this is of substance. And once they got back home, they went to Milton's place. Oh my God. Am I surprised? Not really. I think I would have expected maybe for it to be more like Sheldon's place from The Big Bang. To be honest, I think I would have expected to see. He did talk about his microscope, so I wasn't surprised to see it in the middle of the kitchen. The only other thing I would have expected, the whiteboard, I expected that. I think the only other thing I would have expected would have been computer screens and everything all over the place. That I would have expected. So I wasn't surprised. His maths, I don't know. They look like cow skin or something like that. Anyway, so then his friend comes in, and I like the fact that his friend really bigged up the relationship and really spoke positively about Milton and also Lydia, even though he hadn't met Lydia, because Lydia is worried that because of his age, is he ready for marriage? Is he ready for the commitment that comes with marriage? And I like the fact that yes, his friends spoke about his accomplishments, but he also spoke about the fact that he sees Milton in a different light when he's around Lydia, so he thinks Milton is ready for marriage. And it's like, oh, that's good. At least his friend has spoken positively. I don't know about his family, but the friend seems to like Lydia, so we'll see how that plays out and how long that lasts. I don't know. It's going to be drama. And then we have Izzy and Stacy. Izzy and Stacy, I said this before. I said that relationship was based on the physical aspect of it, and I didn't think there was a lot of substance to it, and I am not surprised, because every time we saw them, they were talking about, they were either making out or talking about making out. So they had this little putt-putt game, and then somehow during the putt-putt game, it came out that, Stacy preferred long sticks, and, Izzy was asking, are you happy with my stick? And she said she was sort of happy with his stick, but she wanted more, I think she wanted more aggression or whatever. She wanted him to man up. She wanted him, to be like, what's her name from last season? Like Jackie. She wanted him to man up and, rough handle her. And he said, that was not him. He really wanted to take his time. It wasn't a one-night stand. It was a relationship that he saw going somewhere. So he really was trying to put in the work and trying to get to know her and trying to build on their connection. Or so he says. Anyway, then they went home and they got to see Stacy's apartment, Stacy's car. He seemed to really like Stacy's car. And the fact that he kept saying, oh, this is where I'll be living, this is where, and it's like, why are you both suddenly moving into her place? Is that what you agreed upon in the past, that once you get together, you'll move into her place? Is that the reason why you decided to propose to her? Make it make sense, Izzy. That doesn't make sense. And then they got to this conversation about bills and spending, and it's like, So the two of you were busy humping all over that resort in Mexico. You didn't have your finance conversation, only for you to wait until you got home and he saw that you actually do have money, and then you start having this conversation. That I did not like. I think Izzy was just saying anything and everything to keep Stacy sweet. I think he saw Stacy's lifestyle and thought, "Oh, I'm made for life." I don't know, because they spoke about bills and they were like, "Oh, we'll do 50-50." But when they go out, Stacy wants him to finance, and it's like, does he have the funds? Does he have the funds? I've seen a couple on Married at First Sight break up because the guy didn't make as much as the girl, and the girl wasn't happy to downgrade her lifestyle just to sort of match him. It's Merla and Gil if you've watched Married at First Sight, so that's what I sort of get from Stacy and Izzy. I think that's going to be a bone of contention in this relationship, because I don't know how they're going to overcome it, especially if Izzy doesn't have the finances. Stacey, in a confessional said, she comes from money. Her granddad worked very hard to get the money, and so she comes from money, but she wants someone who loves her for her and not her money. And it's like, well, I don't think Izzy is it. Just being honest, I don't think Izzy is it. I think Izzy is not ready for the type of relationship that she's looking for. I might be wrong, but I don't think, because of the way he maneuvered from Lydia to Johnny to Stacy, it doesn't make sense to me. Had he walked into the pods and sort of developed an immediate connection with Stacy, that would make sense. Because when he was speaking to Lydia, he said his connection with Stacy didn't grow until after he connected with Janae and he realized there were issues with Janae. That's when I think it was more. I don't know. I don't want to call him a gold digger, but I think he liked the idea that she came from wealth. I might be wrong. And then we have Aaliyah and Ucha meet up. It's the audacity for Uche to arrive late, and then when he arrives late, he has this grand appearance. He doesn't even hug her. He doesn't even. She has to start talking, and she has to tell him she really likes him. She still sees a future with him, and I was like, "Why are you begging? Why? Why?" I think because my expectations have been set so high, given how Zach and Bliss behaved when they first met, that this is not it. Aaliyah doesn't need to beg. She's stunning. She's educated. She's someone who can find a person of her own, or she can find her person if she takes the time and is patient. I don't know. We'll see what happens in episode 7, but I'm not really impressed by the way Uche is behaving. I'm sorry. I've always defended my brothers as much as I can when I see that they're not being, supported or being portrayed in the positive light. I went to war for Kwame last season when people were trying to sort of align him with SK, because I didn't think that they were on the same level of, their crimes or however they were edited. But with Uche, I'm sorry, I prefer SK and Kwame over Uche. Uche has got this standoffish sort of I'm better than air around him, which I don't like. I hate the way he treats Aaliyah. I hate the way he talks to Aaliyah. Yes, Kwame and SK had their issues, but I think they're nothing compared to the way Uche has maneuvered himself. I hate the way he's presenting himself. I think he needs to do better. He needs to do better than how he's behaved thus far, but that's just me. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.